Hi friends, it's Auntie Cuckoo bringing you guys a make dinner with me. So I haven't done these in a while. Over summer we grill a lot and there's just not a lot to show. So tonight I'm going to share with you guys one of the favorite dinners that my family has that is meatless. So we're going to need some Swiss chard right here, an onion, 3 cans of Great Northern beans, a very large can of crushed tomatoes. This one is 28 ounce. You're going to need some chicken stock. You won't need an entire container, just about a cup and a half. And pasta. So tonight I'm using the elbows, but I usually use these shells. We just don't have enough. Really any pasta. So it's going to be a pasta dish and a bean-based sauce. It's very healthy, very low in fat. Your protein comes from the beans. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and pause. I'm going to chop up my Swiss chard and my onion. I'm going to put a little drizzle of my oil here in my pan and get it nice and hot. And then we'll be back to saute those. All right, so I just chopped up that whole onion. It's a pretty good sized small onion, not too big. And a lot of the flavor comes from the onion. So if you don't like onion, I guess you could probably substitute some garlic. And I like the white onions. I just think they're a little sweeter and I like them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let these cook for about a minute. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and actually rinse my chard because I don't think I did that when I brought it home, and open up my cans. So now I'm going to go ahead and pat my chard dry and chop it up as if I would for a salad in bite-sized pieces. They will cook down in the sauce, but you don't want to have big old chunks that are too long to get in one bite. Alright guys, I've got my crushed tomatoes open, my onions are going, and I've started chopping my chard. So what I'm going to do is add this entire can of crushed tomatoes, and I'm even going to rinse that out with a little bit of water and add that, just like a splash. And now I'm going to open my Great Northern beans and add the entire content of the can, all 3 of them, to our sauce, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got I'm going to turn my heat back up. I had turned it down so I could get everything done. I've got all my beans, the entire can, including the liquid, in here with my crushed tomatoes. I'm going to give it a stir and let it get nice and hot. And then over here I've got all of this Swiss chard all shredded. Now I've used bok choy before and we like both. This is just a recipe I had seen in a magazine and then I kind of adjusted it and played with it a little. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and get this sauce nice and hot. I've got it up to like a low high, if you will. And I'm going to, when that gets nice and hot, go ahead and add about a cup and a half of chicken broth. Now if you are vegetarian, you could also just do vegetable broth. This just adds a really nice flavor to the sauce, and the beans make it chunky and hearty. So I'll add that when this boils, and then at that point we'll go ahead and add this to go ahead and cook and thicken, and we'll bring it down to a medium at that point. So now we're just waiting on the inevitable, the boiling sauce. Alright guys, it's almost there, it's almost there. So I wanted to show you, I added a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and this is gonna get going now. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and start a pot of water for your pasta, and then once this gets going, I'll show you guys how much of the broth I put in. I eyeball things. I don't really cook by measurements, I cook by feel. So I'll just put a little bit in there, and then the trick is to get it to reduce, and that's where all your flavor comes from. Alright, so we've got our boil. Now I'm going to show you guys, I went ahead and shook up our chicken broth. This is what I do. I add about that much. And it's probably around a cup, maybe a cup and a half. And then what I'm going to do is put our Swiss chard right on top. And again, you could use bok choy. I guess you could use kale, but it doesn't have as much of that peppery flavor. So you'd get the texture, but you wouldn't get that flavor that I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. And then once I get it all stirred, I'm going to bring it down to a medium so that it can reduce and thicken and it'll be nice and chunky and yummy. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in my elbow pasta now to my water. And that will be ready in about 10 minutes. This one might take about 15. We'll be back with the progress. All right, we've got a boil. So we're going to go ahead and strain our pasta, guys, and let this go for just a few more minutes, and then we'll show you the finished product. Note to you all, I did not tell you we're going to need a little bit of shredded cheese if you do like cheese at the end. All right, guys, I wanted to show you how much that sauce had reduced and cooked down. Now we're going to go ahead and top our pasta, which this one happens to be a macaroni, with a nice spoonful of our sauce, our white bean sauce. This is like so good. I cannot wait to get it in my belly. That's what it looks like when it's all done. And what I do is I just, oh, premature bell, premature ring. I just top it with some shredded cheese. Let that melt all over it. And that's it. That is our white bean pasta dish. We usually call it beans and shells, but tonight it's beans and macaroni. Thanks you guys so much for watching. And you know what this means? It's dinner time.